Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. You want to come up and join? Put your invite in so we can get this book club going. Sorry about that. That was my first time on a Facebook Live, and I didn't private group, and I didn't know you had to use a computer and all of that. And I'm not trying to. I don't want to do all that. I want to keep it simple. And so, um, those who want to stay for the group for the club, they'll stay. Those who don't want to stay, they'll leave. I can make it a private group, and I'll try that next time. But since we're like on a time crunch and we asked you all to be here, thank you all so much for coming over here and being flexible. I really, really do appreciate that because I know we're already like 17 minutes into it, and I know we're ready to get this book club started. So those of you that want to stay for the book club, you're free to stay. Those of you that thought it was going to be a regular live, it will be the Facebook. I mean the book club meeting that was originally supposed to be on Facebook, but yes, I don't really be on I don't work, so I don't really be on the laptop like that. I don't do the computer thing too much. I I don't do that anymore. So so hello everyone, welcome, welcome. So we'll be doing the book club. Those of you that want to come up, put your request in. Those of you that have read the book and may want to read certain parts of the book aloud, or want to, want to share what they've learned, or share what their takeaways. Mario, can you do me a favor? Go get my glasses off my So yes, definitely gonna bring Alan up, A Town up. Let me know if you all want to come up. Let's see. Okay, there he is. Hello, how are
Up,
you?
twin.
Hey.
Hey, so yeah, so
Oh,
glad, thanks for the flexibility, everybody. We definitely appreciate you.
yes.
Um, you know, the Facebook was Facebooking, but we're here now. So, we're about 20 minutes in. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get it popping, twin.
Yes. So
Encourager wants to
generally,
know what we're reading.
we're reading Five Lessons by Neville Goddard. The first lesson is consciousness is the only reality. And so normally I've been doing book club with my family for probably the past year. Normally how we do our book clubs is that we generally ask, you know, what did you read and did you highlight anything? So we take the first page and say, did you highlight anything on this particular page, or did you have anything on this first page that stood out to you? And those who read it and had highlighted anything, that's your opportunity to read the highlighted passage and then give your understanding regarding that passage.
Okay.
And so
Let me ask you
if
this. Did you want to go
if you
first
if
just so
you if
people
you've
can kind of
read
get
if you I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was going to say, did you want to go first just to kind of, set the tone, or did you want to open up for somebody else?
Um I'd rather open up it because to me with the book club it doesn't have to be someone is leading. It's about who read it
Mm-hmm.
and who wants to share,
For sure,
right?
for sure.
And so Don't be afraid to come up in the box so we can hear your perspective, which is why I would prefer TikTok, but I can make it private and just invite those who desire to be a part of the book club. But you never know who may be strolling past and want to hear about Neville Goddard, and may want to sit and
Yeah.
just listen. So
5 lessons.
5 lessons, exactly. So with the book club, it's interactive. It's not about someone teaching you. It's about everyone sharing, right? So this isn't about me teaching anybody anything. This is about us giving our different perspectives based on what we read and
Hmm.
getting an understanding. Of course, it's open to questions, right? But it's our individualized perspective. What are our takeaways from it?
Hmm.
So that's why we do want people to come up and participate.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so let's go ahead and open it up then. Okay, so who highlighted something? Because everybody said they enjoyed the book. So, for those that did read, of course. But Joy had mentioned that she came from the Hebrew Israelite side of things. And so she definitely loved the breakdown from the first part where they were going to um, how God spelled his name, JODHEVAUHE. That was, like I was telling him, like that was real deep for me in terms of just being able to understand like the how the vowels and meant something, and that's where they kind of started um, having such meaning in just the characters of the letters that make up the whole word. So I thought that was pretty deep.
Yeah, so the first page is generally Neville is just telling you how the Bible is not historicity, right? That the Bible is psychological truth. So that's the premise of the for the first page. Is not He's not really getting too detailed into his lessons yet. He's just going over letting you know that the different ways that the Bible has been interpreted, right? So he says that tonight I will take 4 stories and show you what the ancient storytellers intended that you and I should see in these stories. The ancient teachers attached psychological truths to phallic and solar allegories. They did not know as much of the physical structure of man as do modern scientists. I don't necessarily agree with that statement. Neither did they know as much about the heavens as do our modern astronomers. Well, we know that's not true because you look at all of the ancient pyramids and everything, right? So how can we say that they didn't have as much knowledge?
For
Don't
sure.
necessarily agree with everything, but that's neither here nor there. But the little they did know, they used wisely, and they built phallic and solar frames to which they tied the great psychological truths that they had discovered. So that's basically what the first page is referring to, just telling you that a lot of, especially those with the religious backgrounds, they misinterpreted scriptures for something on the outer when it was meant for something inward. It was about the psychology of the mind. Yes. So yeah, a couple of his books. I mean, this is not the only lecture that which he delves into the the Jah the Jah Jehovah's name, Jah Hey Bah Hey. He does go into other books breaking down the name of God. But yes, if this is your first time seeing it, then yes. Right, because as he's letting us know that the book isn't about people that existed in time and space, right? The book is allegory. It's all parabolic, right? It is about personifications of the mind. And when he takes the different 4 stories that he lays out for us, He's showing us how this is psychological truth and not about how people existed in time and space. Yes,
Right,
yeah.
because he mentioned, yeah, we're not right. The ancient storytellers were not writing history, but an allegorical picture lesson of certain basic principles, which they clothed in garb of history. And so these stories were adapted to limit the capacity of most uncritical and credulous people. So I think being able to have that insight was able to like say, okay, well they did what everybody else did. They took principles and they took things because we think in pictures. If we really think about it, we think in pictures. So what better way to, because they were scribing on rocks and other things of that nature. So it's not like they had actual books, so they had to feel in pictures. So if we can imagine that they had their imagination and then they felt it, then they were able to scribe it and put it in pictures. That's pretty amazing because that's ultimately the manifesting of, an idea or the desire of what it is, of what they felt or what they knew, because they didn't have a reference point. And that's one of the big things. I think they didn't have this reference point that we have. We have so many Britannicas, thesauruses, these um, all these books that can break down the hermetics and all this stuff. And so they didn't even have this reference point. So they were just really raw with it. And I think that's what thing that kind of resonated with me was like to come back to the base, like, to get rid of all the fluff of just knowing like what you say. But yeah, I think that was really good. Our our awareness goes straight to our consciousness, and we got to understand that the imagination is only from God. You know what I mean? So that's good,
Absolutely.
April, for sure.
Absolutely. So he does break down in the second page, Jod Hey Vahe, right? He tells you that Jod in the name God is a hand or a seed, not just a hand, but the hand of the director. If there is one organ of man that discriminates and sets him apart from the entire world of creation, is his hand. That's how we create, right? With not only with our mind, but with our hands, right? That's how we bring form to everything in our world. If we did not have the hand, if it was like the ape, right, we would not be able to fashion and form as we do.
And what page you reading? Where you at?
This is for me, it's page 6 is the second page of lesson 1 for me. That's how it
Okay.
shows up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, you on there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello. And then he says the second letter, which is, I'm assuming it's pronounced hey. They gave the symbol of a window. A window is an eye. The window is to the house what the eye is to the body, right? We say we don't see with the eye, we see through the eye. We see with our consciousness, right? We don't see with the eye, we see through it. That's why I say the eyes are the windows to the soul. And then the third letter, vowel. They called a nail. A nail is used for the purpose of binding things together. The conjunction and in the Hebraic tongue is simply the third letter or vowel. If I want to say man and woman, I put the vowel in the middle. It binds them together. So the vowel binds everything together. And even though he's given us the literal translation of these words, he's going to break it down for us in layman terms, right?
Yeah.
Yep, Yad Hey Vav Hey. Thank you, Yad Hey Vav Hey. Thank you, Joy. Yep, yep,
Down to the granular level.
yes. He says, in this modern, down to earth language of ours, because the second hey is another window, right? So the first and the second hey are both windows. And so he says, in this modern, down to earth language of ours, you can forget eyes and windows and hands and look at in this manner. You are seated here now. The first letter, Jod, is your I amness, your awareness. You are aware of being aware. That is the first letter. Out of this awareness, all states of awareness come. The second letter, hey, called an I, is your imagination, your ability to perceive. You imagine or perceive something which seems to be other than self, as though you were lost in reverie and contemplated mental states in a detached manner, making the thinker and his thoughts separate entities. Oh yeah, I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my thoughts, right? We hear that all the time. You are not your thoughts. You're not your thoughts.
And for a long time, you try to like, okay, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Being able to be separate from this thing that I was born with, because we don't know at one point in time in our lives that we were saying, okay, this is me. You know what I mean? Like your brain said, hey, hello, and greeted, you meet and greet your mind, you meet and greet your consciousness. There was never a way of, unless your parents or some type of, whatever type of relationship pushed you in that term, or if your, just your personhood was in resonance with that. There's no way that there's no map of saying, okay, you meet your consciousness at this age, this is your mind, this is what's going on. Nobody to really articulate that type of talk. We just, next thing we know, we just talking to ourselves, or we thinking to ourselves, or we're just going off our thoughts. And then next thing you know, we're we're in this dream, in this mind. And so being able to have the articulation that we're providing in the community on your lives, Toyia, it definitely, that's why I just kind of sit and just like chill with it, because it's letting me know that this is not, my mind is not me. It's bringing that separation where it's like you control your consciousness controls your, what your outer world. So yeah, that's good.
Absolutely. And did you have anything to share on that? I want to go to the to Facebook and go into the chat and let everyone know that may be looking for the book club on Facebook.
I just sent the post.
Did you put it in the chats though?
In the chat, let me see. No, let me go ahead and do that.
Okay. Well, that's what I was about to do. But if you're going to do that for me, then I can.
Yeah, I got you. For sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the third letter, Vav, is your ability to feel you are that which you desire to be. As you feel you are it, you become aware of being it. To walk as though you were what you want to be is to take your desire out of the imaginary world and put the Vav upon it. You have completed the drama of creation. I am aware of something, then I become aware of actually being that which I was aware. And I would really love you guys. Okay, so Mia, if you're still in here, we're oh, you have a testimony? Yeah, we normally weren't supposed to be over here, Mia. This is our book club. We originally was supposed to be on Facebook. I wasn't vibing with Facebook because you have to be like on your laptop or desktop in order to have all the functionalities that you want on Facebook. And I didn't want to be that technical with it, to be honest. So we're going to hold only questions referencing the the book club. So we're reading Neville Goddard's 5 lessons. We're on the first lesson, and the first lesson is titled Consciousness is the Only Reality. I will like those who wanted to do the book club to come up, please, because it's supposed to be interactive. It's not supposed to be about me teaching. It's supposed to be about us sharing.
I think people like to hear you teach, though.
No. You all asked for this book club, So I need some class participation. I need class participation.
You said it ain't a classroom. We have the campfire.
Right. I don't need for you to show your face, but I do like to hear your voice. I want to hear you tell me what is it that you gleaned from this reading and share with us your perspective so other people can hear your perspective. Right? I need you all to participate.
Cool. So Royal Nagu said he'll come up in about 10 minutes.
Okay. You didn't read this yet. You have it, but you haven't read it. Yeah. See, I don't see normally with my family, if everybody ain't read it, we don't do it.
Oh, really?
No, because it's a book club. Everybody's supposed to read the book.
Okay, for sure.
Like I've been in other book clubs. You're supposed to read the chapters assigned and then everybody shares. Right?
For sure.
It's not. That's the whole point of the book club.
People want participation points.
And everybody says, okay, I read this. This is what I got from it. Or people ask questions like, what did you think about this? Or could you bring this out a little bit more? Because I didn't quite understand it, that type of thing. But I'm not doing Bible study. No, I don't do Bible study. I'm not doing book study. I'm not a professor.
So because we 30 minutes, about 40 minutes in, we can just chop it up in terms of, and whoever wants to come up, just go through it because I definitely need some, want some expounding on when he was saying man, by assuming the feeling of his wish fulfilled, alters his future in harmony. So you had mentioned the feeling is knowing, but then it goes to say the undisciplined mind finds it difficult to assume the state. So what is that difficulty? Where's that thin line where we're good or we're not good? What do you feel like that is in a lot of people? Because I hear a lot of people trying to fight the state of trying to fight between the 3D, the 5D, being able to have that conflict. What do you feel like the difficulty is assuming the state, which is denied by the senses?
People don't want to practice. You got to rehearse it.
Okay.
It's a muscle. You have to exercise it.
Rashi wants to come up.
Practice is necessary.
Okay. So we have to just practice our way into committing this to a habit or just being committed to it. Hey, Vanessa.
She made a fool of her in front of everybody. It was too early.
Vanessa. Did she hear us?
Rashi wanted to come up.
Yeah. But she did. Put your request in. Vanessa, can you hear us? You're up.
Take the consignee back. I don't want to see it again.
I don't think she realized she's up.
She
probably don't.
I'm a disconnector, and then she can come out again. Because I don't think she realized she was up. So if you're putting a request in, I'll say it before I bring you up. So whoever wants to come up, put your request in, then I'll announce that I'm bringing you up. Because I know a lot of people don't understand it. It happens automatically. Once I, allow you to come up, you come up right away.
Rashi said, how does she request on?
Do you see the little outlines of the people, blue and pink, and it says plus guess? You click on that, and then you put your request in that way. Do you see it?
Aglaé says she's quiet tonight. Well, quiet, but quiet. Yeah. Lisa says she partying. She got a party at her house today, so she's gonna be.
Oh, okay.
Right
now,
on the laptop.
we're doing the book club. So right now we're only taking questions regarding the book that we're reading. Oh, you're on your laptop, Rashi? Okay. So I don't know how you request. Let me see if I can request. Let me see if I can ask you to come up. Let me see.
Here, I can figure it out. I'm about to get on there.
Yeah, it's not allowing me. Which is surprising because I should be able to request, but I don't know why I can't. Only certain people it's allowing me to bring up. Yeah, say it's different on the laptop. Okay, I see Rashi. I'm about to bring you up. I see Rashi. I'm about to bring you up.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Well,
I see Rashi. I'm about to bring you up. Uh-oh. What's going on?
can you hear me now?
Hello? I can hear you, but I hear feedback.
Do you still hear feedback or you don't hear it anymore?
Okay, I don't hear it anymore.
Okay. Great.
Good. How are
Um,
you?
I'm doing well. I love the read. It's a great read. Let me see. I took some notes. And let me get back to my notes.
I love that. I took notes. Music to my ears.
That's
Oh, somebody
but
took some notes, huh?
but that's because I'm into this stuff. I've kind of studied a little bit of this. Um but I was truly interested in um the Yod Hey Vahe thing. That is that's something I kind of studied with some another group that I was with. Um and so when I saw this in the book, I was like, oh wow, okay, it's tied things together. Um However, I learned some new things about like let me see, naming the beast, I guess, controlling your thoughts. I was like, I everything that I was reading, I needed it because um, unfortunately, I'll be strolling through TikTok and I hear all this information. I'm like, it's hard to avoid, but I'm like, okay, I can do this. It's not a problem. People can think and say what they want to say, as long as I know the truth and and it has nothing to do with me. Um, it's none of my business. They can have their own thoughts, just like me. So I choose to think differently. And but this book helped me to challenge what my beliefs. And I'm like, ooh, I must believe that because why am I buying into it? Why am I why am I giving this attention to something that um why where I could give my attention to something else. I have the choice. And so I was like, oh my goodness. Ooh, I'm about to cry because this chapter is so fire. I'm just looking at all my notes. It's a lot. those
What
those
else you had, Rashi?
it's like I have like 15. I highlight like 15. So much because it's like in the 19 or whatever amount of pages, it was like full. Um,
It was.
it's a lot. But let me see. Let me go back to the story of with how far did you guys get? Did you talk about so far?
I was just on the Jodhe Bahe. We hadn't got to the sun, the Shin. I-N or
Yes.
A-N? We hadn't
Yes.
gotten to that yet. We
Oh,
hadn't gotten to
yes.
that.
I found that very interesting. Oh my gosh. Let me see where. Let's see.
And if anybody else wants to come up, please hit the
Yes.
request invite so we can bring you up. But yeah,
Okay.
Rashi, I'm excited. I want to hear some
Yeah, because I just finished.
takeaways.
For me, will be page 6. It's the second page of the
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was
And I had jumped to
busy.
7, but we can definitely go back. Oh no, what did I jump to? Yeah, I jumped on 7, 8.
Yeah. We should be on 7 now. We should be on page 7 now.
Okay.
Rashi, yeah.
So is that the father and the son part where you guys are talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I found is the father represents pure being where everything ever created remains forever. And then the son is adds the shin, which is the fire, which gives you the power to change and let go what you don't want. So because everything that is created exists forever in the higher consciousness of God. However, as the son, your as your consciousness being, you can choose which state to embody and which to let go of. So, and then the prayer part, the prayer is the power to change reality. And let me see. Let's see. So
Okay, you dropping
I
some
wrote it.
nuggets over there, Rashi.
Yeah. It said if God and man are one, then man is the creator of his reality. God is not separate from us. So he is your own consciousness. Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. Everything is absolute in the Father, right? Everything
Right.
is
Right.
absolute. But the Son has the power, as you say, to consume or change that which
Yeah.
he does no longer desire to be.
Which is so amazing, um and you don't have to beg for change. It,
Right, that part.
the
That
state
part.
of already having it, like you say, Toya, it's you it's we have to shift to match our beliefs.
Right.
Absolutely. Yep.
The work is the inner work, and
Yes,
it's
yes,
just our imagination. And like Toya said, just keeping that. But yeah, you're right, Rashi.
yes, and we are not victims. We like Toya says, we created this, so we can just create ourselves out of it. It's not,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which is the I guess that's the son part, the Jesus part of ourselves. Because God is what it is, and so the son is like experimenting. Um, so we could change, but God is unchangeable. But the son is like, oh, we could play around with this. Okay, let's think. So if you're thinking something that you really don't prefer, you can change it to something you prefer.
Yep. Yep. All
Yes.
states, all states exist, but you can enter and exit out of any state
Yes.
at any time. Right?
Yes. And I have to remember I can practice this at any time. And that's it, nothing with the sun, nothing is finite. It's easy. But it's easy if you practice. Let's see.
Right, rather than taking it so literal and so late laborious, right? Just play with it and almost like, and I had to kind of really relate it to just anything that we deal with on a natural level. Like if we're cooking or if we're playing a game or if we're doing whatever, we had to mess with it a couple times to really turn the doorknob or play with the light switch or, whatever the case may have been. And so I think coming back when I related to having a childlike faith, that kind of comes
Mhm.
back to me where it's like just take it as a newborn baby to what we're applying here in this 5 lessons. But yeah, that's good, Rashi.
Yeah.
And I got one more thing. So it can only live within objective world if I keep it alive within my consciousness. So if I'm still holding the same feelings from 10 years ago, it's my fault. I mean, why didn't why didn't I let it go? Why am I holding on to something that happened long time ago and I still hang on to it? And I'm sure nobody else is thinking about it, and I'm still thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. So when you say, Michelle, is the sun our human self? It you have to see what you mean by being human. Is it their express representation of the all? Yes. Is the express, so that being sun is the expression of the I am? Yes. And the sun having the power to what? Change whatever you say I am is.
Hmm.
You have the ability to do that. That's your creative power to transform the I am, because whatever you say I am, that's what you shall be.
Yes, and something else came up for me as well. Um, you are not controlled by the external forces. Your consciousness determines what happens in your life. So it took me back to thinking, am I I'm am I acting this way because of the external, or am I am I feeling this within? And most if it's not of God, I know it's external. If it's not, you know, if it's not truth, then it's external. If it's
Hmm.
if it's not happening to everyone, I know it's external.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's deep. That's good.
Yes, yeah. But
Hello,
remember,
Royal.
I
Hey,
have
hey,
a
how y'all doing?
lot of background from a lot of teachings, and
Hmm.
I'm so blessed to have been able to go and take and what makes sense as truth in everything. There's truth in everything, and I get to take the truth and put it together because it's just yeah. Whatever somebody said, there's always some truth in everything. It says you have to look for it because, like I said, what is truth is always happening.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good,
Absolutely.
Rashi.
Thank you.
Nice, nice, nice. So, Royal.
Yeah, so I only read the first part, the part we doing the book club on. I ain't want to do too much. Um but
You overachiever, you.
I ain't want to be an overachiever, but I mean, it's good stuff, man. And the Pastor Jesse. So I'm doing a Bible study with him. You know what I mean? And like little private sessions. And to me, it's just crazy how all of this just lines up. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just where our mind is and having the emotions to back that, having the feeling to back that. So with this reading, I really like the Jacob story, and I heard Reverend Ike speak on that before too, where it was kind of like if you're reading it literal, you like, dang, Jacob, he a bad dude, he did some bad, if you're looking at it
Finesse
literal,
his
right?
birthright, right?
Finesse his brother, yeah. So when you look at it like that, but then once you get deeper, it's like, okay, that makes sense. So at the end of the day, it's that feeling. You know what I mean? Like you can have the thoughts and set your mind on whatever you want and have the I am affirmations, but at the end of the day, it's that feeling that clutches it. It's like the envelope the stamp on the envelope. You know what I mean? So I like how they put it where he put the animal skin on his or the animal fur on his arm or whatever, so he could get that, so his dad could feel like he was
Mm-hmm.
Esau. He like, you sound like Jacob, but you
Mhm.
feel like
Mm-hmm.
Esau. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just
Yeah.
understanding that, and just I love how they pull the Bible in it, because I've always been, going to church and all that, and taking it that literal historical route, and it never made sense. But now when you're looking at it metaphysically or whatever, it's just crazy how it all ties in. So yeah, that was a good read.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Facts.
Excellent.
Yes. Absolutely.
What did you how were you able to relate that to maybe something that is relevant to you or just in general? How were you able to kind of
So in so
um
many ways, man. So that's where I'm at now, right? So I'm past. I don't want to say past, but I am at the point where I just want to embody this. Like, you know what I mean? I'm
mhm,
like, okay. I went on a whole little tangent of like getting the Hebrew definitions and then the
mhm,
definitions of this, and then, you know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, I'm like, but how is this going to work for me today or tomorrow when I'm
mhm,
having a situation with my wife, or I'm at work, or whatever the situation is? Like, how am I going to embody this? So that's where I'm at now. And so what that does for me is, yeah, I gotta watch not only my mind but my emotions, and that's what I'm learning with Pastor Jesse, is like the mind gotta control the emotions. Like how the Bible talks, like man over woman, it ain't a male over a female. It's your mind over your emotions. Like your emotions can't run the show. You know what I mean? Like we gotta be able to control our emotions and how we direct our emotions. And yeah, so that's where I'm at with it. And this read, the Bible, all of this together is just really helping this journey.
Yep. So let me read this part on this page 7 that we're page 8,
Okay.
where it says, referring to the two names, this is what Neville says. These are the two names which give you dominion. You have
Mm.
dominion if, as you walk the earth, you know that your consciousness is God, the one and only reality. You become aware of something you would like to express or possess. You have the ability to feel that you are and possess that which I'm sorry, possess that which but a moment before was imaginary. The final result, the embodying of your assumption, is completely outside of the offices of a three-dimensional mind. It
mm,
comes to birth in a way that no man knows. This is the part we need to like imprint upon our,
mhm,
like, because everybody's always trying to figure it out, try to make it happen. Isn't it something I have to do? What do I have to do? They're busting a brain vessel trying to figure out the how.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
and this is the
That's
point
not
that
your
mhm,
work. But y'all keep talking. I need to go get my charger. Sorry.
I was going to say that's really the distinction between us as humans being um, in human form, but also how mammals, we're still mammals. We're still part of our exoskeleton still reflects a mammal, but we have the power of the imagination, which animals don't. And that's the piece that we're able to, really embody with what she mentioned. Um, and that's what, Neville kind of mentioned on one of his other videos, where there's a complete distinction between having a mammal and being of a God spirit, or having a spirit, having a human experience rather than not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the five
Absolutely.
senses, I like that part about the five senses. Um, I don't have it in front of me because it'll kick me off TikTok. But the part about the five senses and how you gotta, um, whatever your set desire is, no matter what the world is showing you. What you hear, see, touch, feel, smell, no matter what that's talking about, stay focused
Mm-hmm.
on it. You know what I mean? That's that's uh that's
Absolutely.
real. Yeah. It's almost like once you get on this, once you start doing this, it's almost like the world is like it's another entity or the world or something that's just kind of like starts throwing stuff at you. Like, you really about this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
start seeing more things that are trying to sway you away from that. You know, so it's really
The key to that is to me is that you have to lose that mindset of judgment. That's the only reason why you feel that way, that you're being tested, is because you're telling yourself certain things shouldn't be happening. Says who? Remember, you have certain beliefs, and that's all
mhm.
you're seeing are those beliefs. They go away and they transmute once you stop judging them. But if you keep having experiences and saying, why is this happening? This shouldn't be happening. I'm this, I'm that, and saying this is wrong or right, good or bad, positive or negative, every time you judge it, you justify it. And so every time you justify it, you make it firm in your word because you're giving your attention to it. But if you would just learn to observe it with no judgment,
Mm-hmm.
you would stop seeing it as a test. No
All right.
one's
Let me
testing
ask you
you.
something, Toya,
No
because
one's
I love
testing
the way
you.
you give it. So let me ask you something. So let's say it's something, right? Like in let me give for an example, we'll say something that you deal with on a daily basis, right? Or you like you got your desire and something that you deal with on a daily basis pops up. So okay, you can say, all right, I'm not gonna judge that. I'm just gonna observe it. But it's something that you want to straighten out. You know, you want it to get right. Like, is that something you just gonna say, okay, I'm just gonna observe it and fix it inside? You know what I mean? Or like,
Okay,
how do you not
you're
judge?
saying you had an unwanted or unfavorable experience, correct?
Correct.
I say I revise it.
I
I
love it.
actually didn't have a bad or unfavorable experience. This is what actually happened. That's what
Okay.
repentance is.
In your mind,
Repentance
right?
says, I don't have to accept this experience, I get to change it. The
Mm-hmm.
key is not to judge the experience as right or wrong, good or bad, because there is no such thing, only thinking makes it so.
Right.
You're saying it's wrong only because of your thoughts about it, because you think certain things shouldn't take place. But if all things work together for your good, does it matter what takes place?
Boom.
Uh,
Snaps.
I got you. I got you.
Toya,
Yeah.
I want something for about that too. For example, if you call a challenge a blessing in disguise, it becomes exactly that. It becomes a blessing. You say, "What a blessing that is!" Wow. And if you call it a curse, it will feel like that too. So whatever, like you said, we have to be careful when we name things.
Right. That's the
Right.
power he gave. Adam was given the power to name everything, correct?
Right.
We're Adam,
Yes.
humanity. Humanity was given the power to name everything. And boy, do we name everything. Lord.
Everything is good in my life now. Everything is good. Just good.
Nah.
That's good. It's good, gooder and better and best.
Because what did God say? All that I made was good. Who
Oh
came along
Right.
and
yes.
said something was bad?
I don't know. They lied.
Adam. And
Oh,
Adam in the sleep state, right? This is a dream. We're dreaming duality. When you awake, you're supposed to transcend duality and only see the good. God. You only see duality in the sleep state. That's where duality exists. In the awakened mind, did Christ see anything less than God? That's the only way he was able to heal. He could only see the good. But it was always only done according to what? The faith of the receiver,
mm,
the faith of the believer. If you didn't believe, there was nothing that Christ could do for you. The law
that's
does not overstep your beliefs. It always operates according to law. It makes no exceptions for anyone. That's why I say God is no respecter of persons.
Okay.
this book. This book. It's gonna be something I'm gonna read. I have to read this every year maybe
You see
twice a
why I
year.
love Neville, right? I've probably read these 5 lessons probably 2 or 3 times, but I've
Yeah.
read several of his stuff
Hey,
more
it's
than once.
the power of I am. That's him, right? It's like a little 10 part.
I haven't
Is that
read that.
Neville?
I don't know about that.
Oh, you gotta do that. We could maybe we could add that next time, but that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yes.
Just to
See,
What's that
reinforce.
called, Royal?
It was the power of I am. I don't even honestly
Okay.
know if it's him. I do a lot of the audiobooks, so I just kind of let them run.
okay.
But the power of
You
I
don't know
believe
if
it's
it's
him.
AI or not nowadays.
Right.
I
Yeah,
know,
no
right? Because
joke, man. No joke.
I was listening to somebody saying it was Neville, and they kept saying universe. I said that ain't Neville. Neville never don't talk about universe and
Right, right.
in vibrations. And I'm like, okay, you might have put a fake AI to his voice, but I've
Yeah,
studied Neville enough to know that if he did say
Right.
universe, he said it maybe on an off chance. That wasn't a part of his everyday vernacular. He didn't talk like that. He didn't
yeah.
talk scientifically, right? He talked psychologically.
You're right.
Mm.
Right. So, but I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying some people just want the clicks and the views, and that's okay.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. You put Neville on something, you bound to go viral or at least
Right, right.
right.
get them impressions, 100,000 likes and views.
Exactly, exactly. So yes, I mean Neville's reminding us through this first lesson of he gives us 4 biblical stories, right? Reminding us that all of this is psychological. Every story he gave us is psychological. None of it has the Bible is not to the sleeping man. The
Right.
Bible is to the awakened mind. It's telling you how to use your mind. The sleep man, that's who Christ says, forgive them, Father. They know not what they're doing. That's to the man that's asleep, who hasn't come to the recognition or hasn't actualized the God state. Now, those who haven't actualized the God state, can they use the law? Yes. Everyone uses the law.
Right.
Because the law is not a respect of persons. It says what? If you can believe it, you can have it. It's yours. The law of life is the law of belief, the law of assumption. If you assume a thing to be true, it will be true for you. Good, bad, or indifferent. And see, that's why we have to get out of only good people get good things and bad people get
Right.
bad. No, no. You already see that's not true in our world. Consciousness is not judging it from a good or bad. It says, do you believe it? There you go. You get to have it. You get to experience it. Absolutely. The law is the law. It doesn't change. It does not make concessions for anyone. So yes, bad people get what they want just as good people don't get what they want because it's based on what that person believes. And you the only one calling them good or bad. God only sees God.
Mm.
God don't see anything other than itself because everything is made out of consciousness. That's the only cause substance is consciousness. That's why Neville reminds us consciousness is the only reality. So what you're conscious of, you become. So who do you say I am?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Everything you speak about, Toya, I read it in this first chapter. It's like everything you you say is exactly here. Everything. I'm like, this is she's definitely a Never Got a student. I'm like, and
So
from the
you see,
first page,
I ain't just,
you got this.
it's in me. It's
Yes,
in me.
I love that. I'm like, I want this in me. I gotta practice this every day. I have to reprogram my mind because if I don't, it's like taking a bath every day, reinforcing it because you do forget. This is why you have to keep reinforcing this stuff into you so you stay on
You do
track.
forget.
Yes, and that's what I learned the sin is. our forgetfulness. It's we forget that who we are. And so we
Yeah,
forget
what did
our
Paul say? What did Paul say?
identity.
Paul say, I die daily.
Mm.
Yes, yes, and
Daily.
yes, I
I
do.
die daily. It's
Yes,
an
yes,
infinite unfoldment.
yes,
It's infinite expansion. It's infinite levels. It's forever.
yes,
You're forever growing and remembering more of who you are.
yes.
And you're forever putting off the old and embodying the new. But it is a lifestyle, as A-Town says.
Indeed.
For
It's
sure.
a lifestyle.
It really is.
Here's the thing, though. You don't have to awaken to get stuff. You can have the stuff, right? That's what the multitudes followed Jesus after what? After he performed a miracle of the 5 loaves and 2 fish, right? The multitudes followed after him. He said if he had understood the miracle, understood that not only could you do it, but more would you be able to do if you understood. And then he said when he let them know that it was all them, that they had to change, they walked no more with him.
Mm.
They turned away. People don't want personal accountability.
No, man.
No,
That's
no.
too much responsibility. Personal accountability.
I'm gonna be honest. That sound like church.
What sound like? Not taking personal accountability.
Yeah, I mean they go for prayer for the same thing every week. Shout with it. I ain't gonna go on there, but yeah, but just having that
That's
effect.
because they forgive them, Father. They don't know what they do. They're asleep, right? They're asleep. As Neville reminds us that everyone has to walk this path, and everyone has to play the part of the villain as well as the victim. The villain as well as the victim. You have to play all the parts.
Yeah.
You will play all parts before you awaken and know that you're God. You play all parts. God is playing all parts.
Right.
Why
That's
the
why they
Bible is
said
not
God
for
said, I'm a
morality.
destroyer, I'm a builder. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. What is it? Is it Isaiah, Deuteronomy? I unalive. I wound. I heal.
Right.
I create the evil, right? I, the Lord, doeth all these things. The I am is doing it. I am doing it. I'm causing all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's what? It's a play. It's a game. It's virtual reality. No one really dies. No one. But that's a hard concept for us to internalize because we're like, well, the body. Yes, the body is temporal. Everything we see is the illusion. Everything we see is temporary. This is a temporary experience. It's the soul that's forever. It's the spirit. It's the unseen that never dies, never changes. That which we do see changes all the time. We know it. We see it. Everything we can physically see with our eye changes all the time. We're not the same person, right? How many times do we change throughout the course of our life? Those who get to, go to a certain age, as we say.
I die daily.
Mm-hmm.
It's constant. Yeah.
Yeah, so and then he has when he tells you about the King Judah and Tamar, right? When you first read that story, you're like, what? The king just found some tramp on the corner,
You want to make a
got
baby?
her pregnant? Like, what's going on in this story? Like, what?
Right.
And he just willingly gave up all. He gave her the ring, the staff, the like what?
Yes.
And then when you kind of understand the truth of that allegory, because all these stories are all telling the same story over and over and over again that consciousness is the only reality. And if you can assume a thing to be true, it will be true for you. It's telling you about manifestation. That is what these stories are telling you. That once you decide to be a thing and believe you are the thing, you will express it effortlessly. It just happens. So I know when you tell people that they just have to have faith and the thing will all work out, it's hard for people to conceptualize, like, you mean do nothing? Does that mean you're not going to do anything? No, it means the doing is automatic. You only can act from your beliefs. We all do.
So is that what they call inspired action?
But every action is inspired action because you spirit.
Inspired in spirit. Yeah.
Your spirit. Everything you do is inspired action because it's all based on your belief. They only want to call it inspired action because they're looking at it from a good, bad perspective. So if the action you take benefits you, they call it inspired action. If the action you take does not benefit you, then they don't call that inspired action. Somehow you're not being a spirit then. Now all of a sudden you're what now? No, you're the cause of it all. You're expressing your own consciousness, your own beliefs. See how we try to separate and judge and put things in categories? Like now all of a sudden you're less spirit because you brought about an unfavorable outcome as opposed to the one you wanted to happen. Now you're less spirit. No, you're still spirit. You created it. You did it. But guess what you get to do? Change it. Right? They say operating in ego, but that's coming from that mindset of wanting to judge good and bad and trying to bring separation. There is no separation. That's all you need to do. We got to let go of that judgment zone, boy. And it's prevalent, whether it's in the spiritual community or in the secular or the religious, whatever community you're in. The letting go of judgment is our seems to be our biggest challenge, because we want to prove worthy. We want to prove that we deserve the blessing. No, works do not justify you, tells Paul, right? What does he say justifies you? Faith justifies you. It is by faith. Faith. Without it, you can't please him. Not works. Works don't justify you, Paul reminds us. Even James says it, but he says in a way where people think the work is physical, but the work he's talking about is mental.
And just to speak to your judgment point, that's kind of what I got from, let's say, when Adam and Eve went and ate the apple, right, from the tree of good and evil, or good and bad, whatever. That's exactly, you know what I mean? It's that, because before that, you wasn't judging. This is good, this is bad, this is good, this is evil. You know what I mean? Once they ate that, then it's like, oh, we naked. Oh, we scared now. God calling me, I'm scared now. Like, you know what I mean? All those things happened. They had fear, they had shame. Like,
Right.
it
But
just makes so much sense. Yeah.
right. But it was on purpose, because we came here to experience. God wanted to know what it was like not to be God. So duality had to come in. Because without duality, God doesn't know what it means to be sad, doesn't know what it means to feel bad, doesn't know, right? Consciousness wanted to experience itself. So it brought about duality. The eating of the tree of knowledge of good and evil was not out of disobedience. It was to experience itself. Asleep, though, in the sleep state, right? A deep sleep was caused upon Adam before the tree enters this allegory.
But
Before the belief, that's all the tree represents, the belief of good and evil. We took on that belief. That's why a lot of people don't like belief, but that's what the whole crux of this experience is based on: belief. everything you do is based on you believe it or not. Whether it's true or false, good or bad, your actions are based on if you believe a thing or not. You get to accept it or reject it, but it's all based on if you believe it or not. What we have to unlearn, is to stop believing others and believe ourselves. We're so willing to blindly follow others instead of learning to trust ourselves. And I know that was a conditioning. We were told, believe everybody but yourself, trust everyone but yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to, it's not about if you believe me, it matters if I believe me.
Right.
That's all that matters. I could care less if you believe me. You believe in me should neither be here nor there. It should be if I believe me. That's what I live or die on. That I'm able to express my desire or not. Is if I believe in it. You believe it when you see it, and that's okay. For me to experience it, I must believe it without being able to see it, so then it can show up in my world.
And the
And
world
then
will confirm it.
exactly. Yep. And
Yeah,
then
that's
that
good.
gives you, so with the 4, we don't really have to go into unless you all want to, touch base
See if you
on.
can let Lisa.
Okay, she good. She ready to come up?
She said she is. There she go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Doing pretty good, pretty good. So I wanted to talk about Jacob and Esau. For me, it's page 15. I'm not sure what page that's for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's talking about Jacob, a smooth-skinned boy, overheard the request of his father. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I highlighted the part where it says Jacob, a smooth-skinned boy, overheard the request of his father, desiring the birthright of his brother. Sorry, let me start over. Desiring the birthright of his brother, Jacob, the smooth-skinned son, slaughtered one of his father's flock and skinned it, then dressed it in the hairy skins of the kid he had slaughtered. He came through subtly and betrayed his father into believing that he was Esau. So what I put in my notes on the side was Jacob, the supplanter, hears Isaac's desires and came upon Isaac and said desires. This part shows that we never know the how of our desires coming to us. So what I got from that was like pretty much Isaac thought that Esau was the one that went out and slaughtered. I'm not sure what exactly he asked for, but to prepare the meal.
Mm-hmm.
But in the background, we as the reader understand that it's actually Jacob who slaughters his own flock and gives it to his father. But to Isaac, he doesn't actually know that. So that's just pointing to me that we don't actually know how the thing comes, but we know that it comes to us regardless of the how.
Mm-hmm.
So then he pronounced the blessing and gave it to Jacob. And then another part lower down where it says, you do not send the visible world hunting, as so many people do by denial, by saying it does not exist, you make it all the more real. Instead, you simply remove your attention from the region of sensation, which at this moment, in this room around about you, and you concentrate your attention on that which you want to put in place, that which you want to make real. So pretty much Isaac took his attention away from the rough world, which is Esau, and gave it to his desired smooth world in his life and, just the desired reality that he wants to claim for himself. And thirdly, the next page where it says, you are blind because you do not see your objective with your bodily organs. You cannot see it with your objective senses. I put notes on the side. It's kind of small. I put it in the margins. You are blind because you don't see your desires through your physical senses, relying solely on your physical senses to confirm the existence, reality of your goals. So pretty much just saying that limits your ability to manifest because you're so focused on the 5 senses is what I got from that.
That's
Absolutely.
good, Lisa. I like
Yep.
that.
Yep. 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 Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, again, the story is telling you how to manifest, right? I know Neville, he doesn't talk about the mother, but the mother is the and this would be the subconscious mind, would be playing the subconscious mind role, right? Because she's the one that goes to Jacob and says, "Hey, your father wants this meal. I will help you with this," right? The subconscious mind is assisting Jacob in this story, although Neville doesn't make that prevalent when he tells it. When he tells, what to get the point across, he doesn't utilize that portion of the story. We just have to we just have to remember that to keep it simple. And I know some people may miss the simplicity of it because he's talking about, it seemed like he's talking about three different people, and he's actually talking about what your desire, your outer world, and your inner world, right? Those are the three. That's the outer world is Esau, the inner world is Jacob, and Isaac represents that conscious part of you that is selecting the desire, right? He does, and how does he allow the desire to become a part of his world? He has to feel it or know it, and he uses what? The sense of touch inwardly, right? He uses the sense of touch to make it natural to him.
Right.
That's the part we have to understand. He's making it natural. Like, you sound like Esau, but you feel like Jacob. You touch the physical touch of you feels like, so I'm going to go by what you feel like, not what you sound like. What do you know as opposed to what you're saying? This is important because this is where the Christ says, "You honor me with your lips, but your heart is far from me." You're
Nice.
saying one thing, but you really believe a different thing.
Got you.
Yes, yes.
And then, like, to end that out, I did also highlight, so completely die to what you are, that no man in this world can tell you where you're buried, the old man. So I put in my notes, bury the old self, the old story, die to the undesirable state, and let no man in this world tell you who you are and what you deserve to have.
Yes, because it's all you. Yes, people are going to come and try to question you, but that's why when Neville talks in this particular lesson, he says what? Tell no one. Keep it to yourself. My thing is that you have two options. Keep it to yourself, or you could be like the Christ who says several times in the book of John, "I told you before it happened, so when it happened, you will believe." Right?
Right.
So it's always according to your faith.
Of course.
Too many of us are trying to get the faith of others, so that's all we telling them.
Right.
We ain't telling them because we believe.
Right.
We need an amen corner. We want a cheerleader. We want somebody to be like, yeah, you could do it. Yeah, go ahead. And as soon as they tell you your fears, you're like, "Nobody don't ever believe in me. Everybody always doubt me." No, you doubting yourself, and you went around trying to get somebody to be your cheerleader. And when they weren't your cheerleader, you mad now.
I was just talking about that.
Because you really didn't believe it yourself.
Right.
That's all. They just reflecting back to you what you already did. You know you didn't believe before you even start telling somebody about it. You really wouldn't believe in it. So why you don't be mad? They just showing you what you already knew to be true anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
This chapter by itself is a whole book.
It is. And like I said, whatever we don't finish here in the live, we can continue in the chat, as we prepare for the second lesson. But each lesson we'll get, the whole week to add, or, I was thinking about it again and I want to share this, or this came to me, this, dropped in, in the church we would say dropped in my spirit. Now in the spiritual community we say we got a download, whatever you want to say. I got this download. I like dropped in my spirit. I like that better. It dropped in my spirit. This information. It was brought to light. I had this revelation, right? Got a revelation. I got a deeper understanding, and then share it with the group in the chat. Anything that may, whatever we don't get to, because I know we're not going to get to it, but I just didn't want to be 2 months on this. I don't want to be 2 months on this book because it's only 5 lessons.
But they're so deep, though.
Did y'all want to be 2 months? Y'all want a second week for lesson 1?
I would, but I don't know about anybody else. But it's so rich. It's like I have to go over it again and like really take it in. I'm like, it's
It
just
is rich.
yes, and I love that. I love that.
I want to make sure that we can keep momentum at the same time. But if we feel like it's an opportune time for us to do it too, that's up to everybody else.
You could do another week. Joy said, I could do another week though. Yes, as long as we're getting class participation. As long as we're getting class participation.
I'm fine with either option. I'm okay.
Right.
So it is heavy, and I thought it was just me at the I'm going through it. I'm thinking it's just me. Like, dang, okay. I'm over here scribing, trying to make sure the notes make sense, and making sure if I could just go to my notes.
Well, we could do another week because I know everybody probably doesn't read Neville as extensively as I do, so I have to, see that, and acquiesce to the group. So I will do that, and we can do a second week, 2 weeks per lesson.
Because I think people probably would chime in more and they'll have more to say. Yeah. Like I said, that first page even hit me hard. So I'm like, yeah, it's a lot.
It is. It's mind blowing, right? It's mind blowing, especially when you come from the church background and you've heard these stories over and over again. You never heard it from this perspective. It was always like, Jacob wasn't like, he was a dirty dog. He was a deceiver. Oh my goodness, no, he didn't. He stole the blessing. How he gonna steal the blessing? It was just always told from a negative perspective. It was never told in the light in which it was supposed to be shared. It's yeah. But I understand now all scriptures is telling the same story over and over again. It's just using different ways to tell the same story. I'm sorry, what you said?
The different perspectives from different mindsets.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think somebody wanted to come up.
Let me see.
Saturn.
Oh, Saturn. I thought Saturn said they didn't read the did you maybe they wouldn't read it. I know they said they was going to read it. Let's see. Saturn and Taylor.
They didn't have some time on
Hey.
Hey. How are you?
I finished a majority of it. I'm good.
Okay.
I have to put my college brain on for this one.
Word.
Nice.
No, the only thing I wanted to say though, which really hit me, was the fact that when Neville said, if you deny Esau, that you're making it just as real. So instead of denying Esau, you just select Jacob. You just change your attention. And that's the thing that blew me, because I was like, because a lot of people in the community, they say, oh, it's not real, and F the 3D, like these things, right? But it's like the more you deny it, the more you're aware, like you're conscious of it. So why not just like be indifferent?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was saying last night when someone was asking about tips to ignoring the 3D or the circumstances. Just stop talking about the 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Decide what your mind is focused on. Am I telling the new story or am I telling the old story? That's really it. And if you recognize that you're telling the old story, stop. And then just start telling the new. I know that seems too simple, but that's it. That's the answer. We think it should be more complicated. We think we got to keep beating a dead horse when really it's just about choosing differently. It's your power of awareness. Is you realizing that you keep talking about the same thing. That's why you're making it real in your world. And if you would just talk about something differently, the thing that you started talking about will become real in your world.
Look, my mind is blown because as I was reading it, it just felt like it was me talking to me. It just was weird.
Oh, you're talking about spiritual transformation, right? This is where the transformation happens. This is where the renewing of the mind brings about the transformation.
I
It's a
don't think
beautiful
they know.
thing. What were you about to say, A-Town?
I said I don't think they know.
This
Word
is a
up.
book club, Key. Hey, Key, this is book club. We're discussing Neville Goddard's 5 lessons. We originally were going to do it over on Facebook, but I was having technical difficulties, so I brought everyone over to TikTok.
Yeah, that happened to be a bust.
Yeah, I like TikTok because this allows more people to come up, and that's what you want. You want to hear other voices, other perspectives when it comes to a book club. You don't want just one perspective or two. You want as many as those who have read the book to share their perspective.
Yeah, I was not going to host that.
And this has really been good, y'all. Really, really been good. It's like, yeah, that's like Neville's the OG, and he was taught by Abdullah, you know. It's a beautiful thing. I know a lot of people are like, you gotta give Abdullah his props. I'm like, yeah, but Abdullah didn't leave no writings and Neville did, so I don't know what to tell y'all. I mean, if Abdullah left some writings, we'd be reading him too. But he didn't. He gave this message and gave it to Dr. Joseph Murphy, Walter C. Lanyon, and Neville Goddard. Those were his students, his pupils, and that was his mentees. And they left writings behind for us based on what they learned from Abdullah.
Right.
So
He gave it to the right people, you know.
yeah, yeah. So it's a beautiful thing, and it's not about the containers, the contents, right? Don't get caught up on the container. But yeah, so do we have any closing remarks? Anyone got anything else that they want to? Because I know we had 2 more. I know Lisa brought out the Jacob and Esau. I kind of touched on Tamar and Judah, but I didn't really go into that. And then who we have, Moses. I know he had 4 stories. The 4th one was Moses. What was his 3rd one?
Look, the one with Tamar.
Oh, okay. The 3rd one was what Lisa touched on, Jacob and Esau. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. You said the one with okay, Judah and Judah. Okay, so the first one was just him breaking down the names and giving us an explanation of Yad Hey, Vav Hey. So
Yo.
go ahead. What you want to say on that?
Well, that one was really interesting to me too because he was talking about how he had to give himself to Tamar before Tamar would even consider having his child, which I was like, yes. But aside, um, it reminded me, and I don't know if some people have read this. I read The Pearl of Great Price. It reminded me of buying the pearl. Like you have to you have to give everything in order for you to give birth. And like I remember my grandma, it wasn't, I don't know if it was my grandma, it was somebody who told me, like an elder. But we were talking, it basically gave me the sense of like creation happening daily, and basically in the sense that you create yourself daily. Like creation is very literal in that aspect, and that has already that always stuck with me, right? My whole point is that kind of like simile, I guess, or metaphor felt like it was actualized when in the Tamar story, because you have to give yourself to Tamar in order for Tamar to give onto you. And then the child is your desire, and you're aware of the child. So it just was really deep in that symbolism when I got past my first initial yes moment. But yeah, that's how I felt about the Tamar and Judah story.
Absolutely, absolutely, because that's when the Christ. Because here's the thing, we have to understand is that the Old Testament is the New Testament concealed, the New Testament is the Old Testament revealed, right? So Christ always brings these stories out in the teachings of the New Testament. Forsake all and follow who? Me. You gotta forsake it. Some of it, most of it, all of it. You got to let it go. Anything out, anytime you give any cause outside of self, you've created an idol, and you've given power to secondary causes. Anytime you say, "Oh, the tea leaves told me, the tarot card read me, the stars told me," you're giving power to something outside of you. The world outside of you reflects you. It's never the cause. Never. The stars are aligned the way they are because of you. You are the universe. You are the reason the sun rises and sets. You are the reason the stars and the moon and the planets operate as they do. You're the cause. They don't have power over you. What there you go. Remember, I was getting that wrong about Mercury rising, whatever it's called, or something being in a different, whatever they be saying that's going on in the stars. That has no say over you unless you say it does. What is it? Something in retrograde and all that kind of stuff. You got to let it go and understand that you're the operant power. Can you use them to your benefit? Of course. Just like you use a technique to your benefit, but nothing happens outside of your belief in it. It's always according to your belief. Always. Yep. Yep. I only take the positive too, L Glaze. I only take the positive too. But we're all signs. We're not just one sign. We're all 12 signs. All right. And then you got what? In the East, they have how many signs? The decadence and all of that, and all those different animals they have, all because we're everything. I am everything, and everything is I am. There is no separateness. Consciousness is the only reality. You're the cause of it all. Take ownership. You get to change it too. That's the beauty of it. You get to change it. You don't have to accept none of this stuff. So don't listen to all that. You got to turn off that news. You got to turn off, if I listen to Trump, I'm listening to hear beyond what he's saying. You got to learn how to hear beyond of what's being said. Trump be speaking truth, but y'all so caught up in the entertainment of it all. You miss what this man, because he understands mind science. He does, but you got to pay attention to what he's saying. And so many people are caught up in what he's doing as opposed to what he's saying. And you got to leave judgment out of it. Trump is funny to me. He's entertaining. That's his purpose, is to entertain you. Let me entertain you. Let me take your mind away. Let me take your mind over here while I do this over there. But don't matter what he do, it's all gonna work out for me. You gotta know that. You gotta know it doesn't matter what goes on out there. It does not affect me. Though 1,000 shall come by thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, it shall not come nigh thee. You gotta know that though. You gotta really know that. Can't be scared of this world and what's going on out there. It's only about what's going on in here. That's all that matters. So power of awareness. Be aware of what you're thinking because you're creating it.
That's very true. And everybody looking at me like, why are you so calm? Why are you so eerily calm?
Yep. They're gonna be coming to you because they don't understand it. It don't make sense. They in a frenzy. They getting they watching the news too much. And I'm like, the news is propaganda, y'all. The news is telling y'all a narrative. It's telling you a story. It's selling stories. It's sensationalism. It's entertainment. It's sensationalism. I remember my daughter said that it was this girl, she had a fire in her building, right? And she said, yeah, it was in the newspaper, and half of that stuff didn't happen. She's like, almost half the stuff they said in the newspaper didn't, right? Because they need to sell papers, and sometimes what actually happened is kind of boring. Right? So they got to spice it up a little bit, got to get a little extra fluff. Otherwise, they know, people are looking for the spectacular, the grand. Sometimes the ordinary just ain't, it ain't tantalizing enough. So they got to make it sound real good to sell paper or to get you to read it, get you to buy into it. I remember when I was watching a documentary and they was talking about what happened in Germany, right? And they were, and the leader at that time back in the 40s, y'all know what I'm talking about. And the propaganda that went on, it was like, if you want to convince someone of a lie, you tell them a lie that's so big that most people would think, well, why would you lie about that, right? Make the lie so big that it boggles the mind of people question, well, they wouldn't lie about that because that lie is just too big to really think that someone would lie about that. And then because it's not about a lie, right? It's about, what can I get you to believe? What can I get you to believe? That's why you got to know you and believe in you and blindly follow no man. That's what scripture tells you. How you gonna believe man whose breath is in his nostrils? He doing the same thing you doing. Why you believing? Why you pushing your trust in man whose breath is in his nostrils? You gotta learn how to believe in you. If you're gonna believe in any man, believe in you. Trust in you. Because you got the power. If you do have an unfavorable experience, you get to change it. You don't have to accept it.
So since we read this, we all gonna come back and report the fact that we all climbed the ladder, right? Because he sure did slip in the ladder experiment in there.
Did he not?
He said,
You love that
imagine.
ladder technique, boy.
You know what's crazy? I was thinking about the ladder situation, and then I ended up seeing a ladder today.
Did
But
you?
yeah, but back on what we mentioned earlier about like the news and paying attention and just not like what Saturn said about staying calm. I was talking to my friend and I was just like, I really just don't pay attention. It's just a movie to me. So if anybody comes to me and they're like, oh, did you see what happens? I'm like, wow, what an interesting movie that was. And then my friend was like, wow, I wish I could be like that. And if you came to me right now and said there was another fire, I wouldn't know a thing. I would not know a thing.
Mm-mm.
I just don't put my all into it,
Yep. Because the new heaven, new earth is in you. It's not outside of you. It's in you. But I guess what this has been like almost about an hour and a half. Good time, good Bible, good. I'm about to call it Bible study. It's almost like a Bible study, right? Because Neville is using scripture, but great book club meeting. I enjoyed it and really, really appreciate the class participation. This was beautiful, so amazing. Oh my goodness. So many good nuggets. So many good nuggets.
Yes, I appreciate y'all for putting this together.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you,
Yes.
Toya.
Thank
But
you
shout
so
out
much.
to
This is
shout out to
fun.
you guys. This is what shout out to you. I'm just doing what the community wanted. This is what the community wanted. So asking it is always given, right? So you wanted a book club? Hey, you ask and thou shall receive. Yes, this is amazing. So we'll continue next week. Continue on lesson 1
Yeah, this
and
was great.
yeah. Thank you so much, A Town, for your assistance. Thank you. What you laughing at? What?
Facebook, that Facebook.
Oh, Facebook. Yeah. I didn't know you had to be like on, desktops and laptops and all. And I'm like,
All
oh,
right.
I like Pick. It's a little bit more simpler. And I did Google to see can I make it, but I don't want to make it private because what if some people want to come in and learn?
Right. Right.
Like we're not talking about anything that we don't already talk about. It's just focused on the book, but we already talk about this anyway, right?
Exactly.
And those who may want to, they may be, wanting to more understand scripture more, and they stop by the live, and now they understand scripture from their metaphysical interpretation, right?
So that's how I
They
showed
have a
up.
desire to pick up the 5 lessons and read it. Everything happens for a reason. So I know there are no mistakes, no coincidences, you know. So we do know
Facts.
that. Yep.
Excellent
So
shares. I love the shares.
absolutely, And look, I get to have all these people. I get to fill all these boxes.
Right.
So what is it, every Saturday?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Every Saturday,
okay.
7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yep.
Central.
Well,
Okay.
not every Saturday, but for this book, we may
The
take a
next 4
break.
Saturdays. All right.
Yep. Yep. Until we finish the book. So I don't know how long that'll take. So
You might fall in the chapter and can't get out.
I know, right?
Because these jokes is deep. I done took a peek at the other two. I was like, oh man,
And his
Man, the
these
thing
first
jokes are
chapter
was,
crazy.
already hitting. Yeah.
and this what his challenge was, right? That you manifest your desire within the right.
Immediately.
He told you
Immediately.
that he had just came from sharing these lessons a previous 2 weeks ago, and that he had like 135 people in the room, and 35 of them had said they had realized their desire before they finished before the week was finished. So yeah, so it's not just to read it, but to apply it. And so we could come back and say, I applied what Neville taught, and these are my results from application. So
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think,
we just
the
don't want to
most I can
consume.
appreciate. Oh, okay, go ahead.
You can go.
Oh, okay. What I was going to say is through all the shares, one thing that resonated with me was bringing your imagination more a superior rather than inferior. I don't know where we get the inferiority of the imagination or what the 3D is, like I was saying earlier, but being able to give more of a superior control and being able to put that control in our hands, rather than on a receptor. We are the creators of what we, and being able to have these reference points was really, really great. So yeah, definitely appreciate everybody for chiming in because most of the time we on the comment box, but being able to have everybody's reflection was dope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because we wanted to be like James said, be not only hearers of the word, but doers also. Just don't keep consuming information apply it to your life. Apply this truth, apply this knowledge, prove it to yourself that imagining really does create reality.
This was fun. I liked it.
Yes, thank you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you, Lisa.
Appreciate you.
Yes, appreciate
All of
all of
you.
For
you.
sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So with that being said, guys, good night.
Good
Peace out.
night.
All right. Good night, y'all.
All
Thank
right,
you.
bye-bye.
Bye.